Hey, what's up guys, it's ElasticSpyder here, and in today's video we are looking at a Charles Martel replay. I somewhat recently got this ship, and this is, I think, my 13th, 10 to 13th game, so I'm still pretty new in this ship, but I do know how the French cruisers play, so I'm going to try and demonstrate that for the most part to the best of my ability here. Before we get too into this replay, let's go over my captain perks and my modules. To start off with my modules, I've got main armaments mod 1, then accuracy mod 2, or 1, speed boost mod, the one that increases your speed boost duration, then steering gear, and finally concealment. Then we go with priority target, expert marksman, demolition expert, concealment, and then finally IFHE. The reason I'm running IFHE, for those of you that might be asking, it's because I am preparing for the Henri. The IFHE perk might actually benefit me on certain ships, depending on what ship I'm shooting at, but I don't think it actually does. I haven't actually looked up on it and see if it does end up impacting, you know, shooting and penetrating, let's say, battleship decks, for example. I'm gonna try and speed up the replay here, see if that fixes the lagging with the ships. I don't know if it will. Hopefully it does, though. Sometimes it does help. If you guys are wondering why I'm running accuracy mod instead of, let's say, a range, which I have tested when the French cruisers first came out, I think I've decided to actually go with a more accuracy build on this. I think the AA is decent enough to cover yourself, certainly, but I don't think the AA DPS is good enough to cover the fleet and shoot down a lot of planes in such a way like the Americans can. The Americans, of course, have good AA range, and the French have that as well. But it really comes down to the AA DPS that I think kind of shies me away from getting the AA range, and in turn, the accuracy mod does help a lot, and it gets these very nice groupings of shells. Like, look at this, I'm shooting at 16 kilometers and I'm getting these very tight groupings, and unfortunately I only hit 2 shells there, but you guys see what I mean. And since these ships, these French cruisers, are good at kiting and just general annoyance, and holy cow, this replay is going all over the place. But anyway, as a general annoyance, you want to be hitting as many shells as possible and setting as much fires and just dealing a lot of damage in general. And I think that if you get the accuracy mod, it helps to do that a little bit better. I was hoping the enemy CV would keep drawing his fighters a little bit closer, so that's why I popped my defensive fire probably a little bit early. But unfortunately I don't get any plane kills there, and it's a rather unfortunate waste of a defensive fire. So here would be a good example of where IFHE would be useful. Let's say this was a Kurfürst or Yamato and I'm in Henri. This would be a perfect situation where the IFHE would be doing lots of damage and actually penetrating most likely those German decks. Whereas here I'm not getting as good of luck. But that's just why I'm doing. So at this point, basically they've decided that they're going to be going C. They look like they are completely abandoning A, and I'm going to just kind of help my team push these guys around and again be a general annoyance factor for the enemy team. So they're pulling completely out of B, and I pop my speed boost to go out. Excuse me. So again, in general, French cruisers are good at, I would say, probably starting they get really good starting at the Algerie. I think the Algerie is one of the better tier 7 ships, especially for what its job is. Its job is to just kite the enemy, and that's really what the French do, as I've mentioned before. But you get 8 200mm, 203mm guns. It's perfect. You can pen battleships. They're 32 mil plating or what have you, and then you can do things like this and get a nice 8K salvos with AP on broadside battleships, because like the Algerie, the Charles Martel has 203mm guns, so it allows you to do these kind of things. And 203mm guns hurt whether you are a battleship or a destroyer. You saw that Mayhem take around 2.5K there. See if I can't pop this Z23. He is going a little bit fast, and the island is just in the way. I don't think I'll get very significant damage, but I still do. 2,800 damage. I'll take that any day of the week. So far, it's not too exciting. Been a little bit slow, and rightly so. I don't want to be leading the charge. As I say that, I'm leading the charge, but I'm going to be turning back very shortly here, and that is exactly what I'm doing. I see the Turkish shoot in the background, and I'm just going to slow down and angle away. Short horse repairs, so I know for certain that I want to be focusing him. That's just because I want to set a fire on him and do a little bit more damage. Those nice bounces off the turrets. So this is one of my favorite, I wouldn't say tricks, but I guess tactics I like to use, especially in the French cruisers because they do it best, is I come to probably about a complete stop or going a quarter speed, and then as soon as someone shoots or they look like they're about to shoot, I just go forward on the W key to full, and of course I usually only do this when I have my speed boost active, and that's because I just get that almost instantaneous, almost British cruiser like power delivered to my rudder, and I'm able to effectively dodge a lot of their shells just by going at quarter speed and then accelerating very, very quickly up to full speed. So again, that is something that I tend to do, but really only when my speed boost is active. It still works decently without speed boost active. It's just you have to plan a little bit ahead of time and make sure that when you've got things like battleships shooting at you, you have to be mindful that they you have to kind of be mindful of their reload time so that you know exactly when they're about to shoot, so you can preemptively start going forward. But that's the thing you need to do in general, and I think it's a good skill to learn overall. So their team pushed into B, and they ended up capping it. Their CV's going on a dev strike on our not quite a dev strike, but a strike on our destroyers. So we have no more destroyers left, and the enemy team has 3. Meanwhile, I've been failing to hit this Tirpitz. He is going very, very slow. He's actually mind gaming me pretty hard. Just gonna sit here for a little bit and pelt this guy. He's not moving much, and so I figured, well, if he's not moving much, I'm not gonna move much. So I'm just gonna be pelting him, like I said. Get a nice fire on him, but eventually I'm going to have to start moving because, again, even though the French cruisers aren't very good at pushing, despite having a very nice turret setup suggesting that, they're not, again, the best at pushing. Decent concealment on the Charles Martel allows it to get in a little bit closer, but the armor kind of disproves this theory. The nice thing though is I think I reported their enemy CV just for being annoying. Like I just hate it when people trash talk and just whine in chat. So that's just a pet peeve of mine. Nothing against like MIA or whatever, but it's just I don't like people that just are annoying. So and I probably played a lot of ranked that day as well, the day that this game was played, so you can see my annoyance there. Blishkavika without a camo, which is quite interesting. That means he has to actually demount the camo. But he's burning. He's in a very bad position. I'm going to try and punish him and finish him off. Just to help our battleships out a little bit, that are actually doing quite well at pushing their heavy weight around in cap. I like seeing that. I should have complimented these battleships that did push in there into B, because they certainly did deserve it. So I hit that Blishkavika, and the Gneisenau now finishes them off. Z-23 shells actually miss, and oh my gosh, this is such bad replay. I can't really see it there in the replay, but I tried to send those torpedoes behind the Gneisenau. The reason I do this is because if he most likely the Gneisenau is going to be backing up. If I shoot torp behind him, that will force him to either eat a torp or he will have to go forward. If he does end up going forward, then he is going to be eating more damage because he has to go forward. And then if he wants to go backwards again, it's gonna lead him to have to stay out in the fight longer and therefore take more damage. Otherwise, he takes a torpedo and we kill him a little bit faster that way. Either way, he dies there, and I'm going to be pushing into Bravo because we are going to start needing the caps pretty soon here. Even though we've got the point leads, their cap lead will get them a lot farther than our point lead will, especially when the enemy team is killing our ships. I shoot the Z-23 that gets spotted, and I end up killing him fairly easily. A bit of a mistake on his part for showing himself. He should have turned away instead of turning in. He probably thought he could make the turn, but I didn't think he was going to, and I punished him for that. Gonna put out one fire here, mainly because I don't see much else of a threat. I'm trying to go undetected here just to try and cap this a little bit quicker. So as long as planes don't come near me, I should be okay. Dodging insanely long-range turrets, secondary shells, and I'm just gonna sit here and quietly cap this. So let's please take a moment for Desperate Cruiser trying to cap for his team. Okay, nice. We did end up capping, and I'm going to start AG spamming these battleships. Algeria gets spotted. Was thinking about switching to AP there, but he's going to be, as soon as my AP is loaded and by the time the shells connect, he's going to be angled. So I just switch back to good old reliable, and what do you know, he sets me ablaze again that I put out immediately. Again, he is behind cover, and I can go undetected fairly quickly here. I believe my detection is, we can see here, 10.5, so that would certainly be okay if I went undetected there, had I stopped shooting. Break his rudder. Yeah, so that means he's definitely going to have to repair, especially with fire on him. I would suspect that. But yeah. So just gonna, once I cap, I want to get out. It's something, when I say you need last stand on this ship, sometimes you really do, because it is annoying as hell. Gosh, this music, I don't know. This replay is just so screwed up, and I do apologize for that. I don't know why it's so screwed up. launch these torps very preemptively. I'm expecting the Iowa to push in. So at 12 kilometers, these are going to be on the very, very edge of his of my torpedo range and basically his luck. If he eats one of these, I'm going to be a bit surprised. But it's worth a shot. He is coming in full steam, and I'm gonna take the chance for it, because a flooding at this point, especially after it looks like he just repaired, that's gonna be very, very big, both for my team and possibly saving my Colorado buddy, which would be very, very nice. However, I've stayed here for the most part, and he's at 10 kilometers now, so he should be eating these if it lands. It will. Will it flood? It does flood. And so that's a flooding and a fire I've got going on him. He's going to be melting very, very quickly. And of course, I'm still pushing his ship to the limit, and a nice 5k salvo puts him on low enough health so that I can kill him for my 3rd kill of the game. So I'm gonna turn around, start pushing through B, probably pelting this turrets. I think the replay is just about over here. I do have about a little bit more damage to farm, but for the most part, I think we can skip forward a bit here. I'll do it a little bit faster, just so you guys aren't too bored. I don't think there's anything very important. It does come down pretty close. It ends up, I think our turrets ends up dying, and it's just me and the Miyoko. And our Lexington is probably almost out of planes. So as you can see, I'm just pelting his turrets, and I managed to get a high caliber, which is nice, and some very consistent damage. Again, 14 kilometers. If I wasn't using accuracy mod, I probably wouldn't be getting as consistent shell hits and damage. So that is another thing you have to keep in mind if you are going with a more team-oriented build. Then that would be something you would be giving up. Again, let's speed this up a bit. At this point, I'm thinking, well, we should just kind of cut away. There's no real threat left. We just have to win on points. We've got 2 caps. We should be okay. Miyoko goes and YOLOs. He takes 2 torpedoes, and the Turpitz is shooting at him with his secondaries. And this is not looking good. I'm setting some fires on him. I don't know if the Miyoko ends up dying here. I don't think so. I think the time will actually run out. And that is the game, boys and girls. Alright, so looking at the post-battle results, ended up with 166 grand in terms of damage. The 222 shell hits, 3 ships killed, 13 fires, and 1 assisted base capture, 12,000 XP, 1,200 free XP, Confederate, and high caliber to finish her off. Team score wise, very good team score, 2450 to finish her off. Not bad for pretty much a lot of damage farming, but I did manage to get a cap as well, and 1,000 above my nearest teammate is always nice. Detailed report, very close to Witherer, 51,000 in fire and flooding, another 9,000. I think if the game went on for about another minute or minute and a half, I probably could have gotten that Witherer on that Turpitz, but in any case, I managed to get 10,000 damage from torpedoes, which was nice, and a lot of HE spam, as I said before. Again, not a lot of shells were fired my way. I only received about 14,000 damage, and potential damage was around 800 grand, which is, again, not all that much, especially for a tier 8 cruiser. Credits and XP, though, they're always nice. Making 200 grand per match is very nice, especially for a cruiser tier 8, which the repair costs can be getting up there rather quick, and they can get rather large. With some modifiers, I managed to get 12k XP and a nice 16k XP for my commander that I can put forward to training him to get 19 points, which would be very, very nice for the Henri. Hope you guys enjoyed this Charles Martel video, and I hope you enjoyed the replay for what it was. I know it was a bit crazy with some of the lag and like ships moving all over the place, but in any case, I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, leave a dislike and leave a comment why you didn't like it, because that helps us out tremendously. Anyways, guys, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and have a wonderful day.